Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to, is it day 3 or day 4? Day 3. Day 3 of the Bhangology Cannabis Awareness Month Summit. I am Dr. Tanya Lowe, CEO of the Renewing Extract Wellness and Bhangology, rocking my gray shirt tonight and my founding member pin. So, guys, I hope you're enjoying this summit. The last 2 nights have been amazing. So, a couple of housekeeping things before we get into tonight's segment, because tonight's segment is going to be awesome. If you have enjoyed the first 2 nights, you're going to really love tonight. Our guest tonight is amazing. Our moderator tonight is amazing. And we're going to have an amazing time. So I just want you to know. So a couple of things, guys. If you're not registered, go ahead and register for this summit. And what that does is when you register for the summit, you actually get to enter into the sweepstakes. We're going to be giving away some really awesome prizes during this summit. But in order to enter the sweepstakes, you got to be registered. So go ahead and register. And you register, it's free. You register at bit.ly/Bhangology Summit, capital B, capital S, or you won't be able to get in. So that's the first thing. Go ahead and make sure that you register and enter the sweepstakes. You can enter the sweepstakes. We're going to be giving away 5 prizes, and it's going to be great. So go ahead and do that. We don't want you to miss out. So, second thing, are you guys enjoying the event? Let me know in the chat. Where you're coming from. Are you ready for tonight? What you've been learning. So before I bring up our moderator for tonight, I want to do, hey, good evening. What I want to do is do a little review, right? So the first night we talked about sex and cannabis and how to make our own, hoo-ha oil. And I mean, Laura was a hoot. It was really great. And then last night was 420. I keep saying it's 420 week. We learned a lot from Taz. Taz brought his personality. He was energetic. So a couple of things I want to share with you guys. I want you to know any takeaways as you take away what you've learned from this summit is that hemp is, I saw a graphic that said hemp is not dope, it's hope. And so as you've heard our first 2 speakers talk about how cannabis has helped them with their anxiety, with their pain. I think you're going to hear the theme throughout the event is that it provides hope. Another thing is many times, and I was like this myself, when anyone mentioned cannabis, many of us only think of one thing, THC. Well, there are 113 cannabinoids in cannabis, right? There's, so now you know about THC and you know about CBD, but there's so many others, and we'll probably do a session after this summit on the different cannabinoids and what they do. If you're a member of our Facebook group, we've got a graphic that breaks it down for you. The other thing we learned is terpenes. Terpenes matter. And what are terpenes? Terpenes are basically the essential oils in cannabis. And so they're in a lot of different things. That smell in a lemon or an orange, those are the terpenes, right? And so terpenes matter. They create the sticky, what is it? I got my notes right here. I don't even know why I'm trying to memorize it. Terpenes, they are found in the trichomes of the cannabis plant. And so that it creates that sticky stuff. And then tinctures, TINCTURES. Tinctures is the official name for the oil. Remember, I said people were always saying, you need to get the oil, you need to get the oil. So tinctures is the oil. But the thing that you need to keep in mind, about tinctures is if you go somewhere and you say, hey, I want to get a tincture, they're going to, what kind of tincture do you want? Do you want a CBD tincture? Do you want a CBG tincture? So keep in mind that almost every cannabinoid has its own tincture. So and we'll be talking more about that, and we'll be talking to you about the tinctures and the products that we have in Bhangology a little later in the summit. So with that being said, I am ready to introduce our moderator for tonight. She is amazing. She is a part of the Bhangology family, and you have you met her before. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Tamika Sims is an author, a coach, and a blogger. She is a co-host of a podcast, and she's based in Columbia, South Carolina. She is affectionately known as the Ink Pen Diva. She likes to say she helps ordinary people do extraordinary things with words. She's a full-time entrepreneur, a 5-time author, and she has helped more than 100 authors write, release, and publish their stories. We all have a story to tell, and we should all tell it. Tamika is also a media personality in the cannabis industry. That's right. She covers topics of business, news, politics, and trends, all in the cannabis industry. And she does it for Cannabiscuits. There are very few Black people in the cannabis industry, and I can, we'll have a conversation about DEI in the cannabis industry soon. But as a Black-owned cannabis media company, the number is probably less than 5%. So guys, we're making history. We are making history tonight. We have an amazing moderator. And so I'm going to bring her to the stage. The one thing I want to say, I'll tell you guys that afterwards, because make sure you stay to the end, because I got a surprise. I got a big reveal for you. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Tamika to the stage. Hey, Tamika, how are you? I think you're muted.
I am fine. Okay. Now, is this better, or is my internet still?
No, you sound good.
Is the internet still steady? Perfect.
So far,
I literally had to.
So far, so good. I think there's a slight delay, but I think we can work with it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've moved in the house. I came outside, so I don't know. We'll try to get through this the we can. So maybe don't go too far away if I can't get through, kicked off or something.
I will be right here. I'll be right here. So, are you excited about our guest tonight?
I am very excited about our guest tonight, and she and I actually had a conversation earlier today, because I was like, well, I don't want this to be the first time we're talking later on tonight. So I was like, if you've got a few minutes, can we do this quick phone call? And she was like, sure. So we got a chance to talk and connect with one another. So I know that the audience tonight is really going to enjoy what she has to share about cooking with cannabis. So I'm excited about it.
All right, so I'm going to go back to the green room. I'm going to be a participant tonight, and we're going to get her in, and I'll let you do your thing. So I'll see you a little bit later.
Thank you. Well, hi, everybody. I am waiting for Chef Alex to come on, and there she is. Good evening. How are you?
I am doing great. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing fantastic. So thank you. First of all, before any further, I have to thank you, Tanya, for the opportunity to serve as the moderator of this discussion on tonight. She and I went forth which topic I was going to do, but I was like, let's do the cooking with cannabis one. So she was like, oh, well, that's great. I got a perfect guest for tonight. So I was like, let's do it. So you guys, I am excited to introduce to you Chef Alex. She is CEO of Edibles by Alex. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit more about her before we get into tonight's discussion. Now, Chef Alex and I had an opportunity to connect earlier today. And I told her when I read in her bio that her love for cooking started in the Southern kitchens, that I already knew that she was a girl after my own heart. I am born and raised in the South. I love to tell people I'm a Southern girl. Like, I think that's a part of my, personality, my sauce or whatever. So I love that that I was able to read that in her bio. It says that Chef Alex began incorporating cannabis into her recipes, marrying into two things that she was most knowledgeable about, and that's good food and effective stress relief. And so we know that Chef Alex has launched Edible by Alex. It's a catering business built on the premise that comfort foods can be enhanced through the addition of cannabis. But I love that she is not just a chef, she is also a content creator. She has 2 courses. One is the Cooking with Cannabis 101, which is an introductory class that's offering you cooking basics, as well as she has a Canna Leader course, which delivers instruction on learning balance, growth, skill, and confidence to those that choose to indulge. So I'm not going to belabor this conversation anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a big round of applause. I know we're all connected virtually, but let's give a big round of applause to Chef Alex on tonight. Welcome, Chef Alex. Here's my applause.
I'll applaud myself.
So, and you should. You're doing great things. So, as we're getting started, so tell us, really how you got into it. What was your first step? How long have you been doing this?
Well, firstly, how I got into edibles was the typical college story. Me and my friends, we decided to make brownies one night, and it just went from there pretty much. And then after that, through time, I just would always experiment. I love cannabis. It is a part of my lifestyle, not just medicinally, but also recreationally. And it's a part of my lifestyle. So I was like, I wonder if I could like make some fried chicken enhance one time. So I would just experiment a lot. And then with my experiments, I would let people try them and they liked them. So I was like, okay, well, let's try some other things. And I would ask some of my friends, what's your favorite? Just to kind of test myself to see if I could infuse it. And then after that happened, COVID came. And when COVID came, shoot, we just went kind of all out with it. I had a lot of people trying to switch from medicine, like taking their pills and stuff like that, or trying to find another way to self-medicate, and they couldn't smoke. So they were just like, hey, Alex, I know you made this, and I've seen you make some of that. Can you make this? I was like, yeah, I'll try it. And then we just kind of went from there.
That's awesome. So now, have you always had an interest in cooking?
Yes. Everybody in my family cooks. You either do cook, medicine, some type of leadership thing, something like this. Everybody's hands-on, but everybody cooks in my family.
I love it. See, that's that Southern upbringing again. Those Southern kitchens, they just do something for you that's just a little bit different. So this is a recent business for you. So you kind of started it leading into the pandemic, or was the pandemic the thing that caused you to shift?
The pandemic caused me to shift and go all out. At first, I would just teeter-totter with, it was kind of like my side hustle. I would balance it with my regular job, but just kind of like my little hobby side hustle thing. And then the pandemic gave me the free time, the money, and the leisure to just kind of go all the way out and go all in.
I love it. I think that that's been one of the lessons that we all have learned during COVID-19 is we really, we had some of us had some choices to make. We were either going to stay where we were, or we're going to make some of those pivots and shifts to really move our businesses forward, and really to see if the thing that we were really passionate about, if we could actually do something with it. And so it sounds like that's also a part of your story, that you were able to do that as well.
Yeah, I was able to really educate and show people the versatility of cannabis. And that's what I really just like. Yeah, I like making it taste good, but if I get to just change one person's mind on what cannabis really is and how it can really help you, I'm good.
Yeah. And for me, and you may have found this as well, when I got started, of course, we were in cannabis media. And so everybody's thinking, are you doing drugs? Are you out here just smoking and doing all kinds of things? And I had to say, no, that there are so many opportunities and industries and different businesses that you can do in this industry. It's not just about smoking. And so I'm glad to hear that education is a part of your platform, because that's just so important to me. is that, we do provide education, and their opportunities is so wide open. And I wish more people understood that. So I'm grateful for, opportunities like this for the Bhangology Cannabis Awareness Summit, where we can do some of the education on the different topics that are available. So do you find yourself also having some of those same conversations? Like, are you, having to sort of break the stigma that it's only, doing one thing and not the many other things?
Yes, ma'am. So like initially, first when I would say edibles, people were like, "Oh my God, you're making edibles," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's just another way to kind of to indulge in your cannabis without everybody being all in your business." So then they'll be like, "Oh well, will it get me
Yes.
high?" And I'm like, "It can, but I mean, sorry, but if you don't want it to, I could just do strictly CBD, so you can get all the medicinal effects and you don't get high." So they're like, "Oh, okay, cool, that works," and then they'll go into the whole discussion like, "Well, with my job or back in the day, I thought this." And I just find that as a time to educate them on the difference between THC, CBD, and then what can they do to help themselves from this point forward.
Yeah, I love that. I so love that. So for someone that's watching us and they're like, you know what, may have an interest, may have a background, I can bake some brownies or some cookies, right? What's like the first thing they would need to know if they're thinking about incorporating cannabis into some of their recipes?
Be able to read a recipe first. That's the main thing. And then
Yeah.
other than that, like, don't overthink it. I tell people that all the time. Don't overthink it. It's just another herb that you would use to season your food or to enhance your meal, pretty much, kind of like clover, lavender, or something like that. So you just need to know that the basic
Okay.
person can consume like 0.01 gram of cannabis. Break it all down. That's just like a half a gram. The basic person can handle a half a gram of cannabis digested into their system. Then after that, you just go up and up from there. So it's like trial and error. You decide on, or you can figure out what your body can handle. But every person's reaction is going to be different because everybody digests food and tolerates their body different. So the way I experience my edibles is not going to be the same way you experience your edibles. So you just got to remember that everybody's experience is going to be a little different. But try it out from a half a gram and then go up. But just have fun and don't overthink it.
Yeah, so the overthinking, that overanalyzing probably stops most people from probably doing it because they're like, well, I'm not sure, or what if such and such may respond this way, or somebody else may respond this way. So I like your thought process of, just trying it, starting at the basic level, which everybody can handle and manage, and then really sort of work your way up from there.
Yeah, and if you get too high, just take some CBD or drink some milk. It'll level you out.
Okay, well, see, now I didn't know that. Now, see, you guys, that's what we're talking about. Like, this is such an enlightening conversation. She's already dropping knowledge. So if you get a little bit too, where you don't want to be, then you can always, drink some milk, or as she said, what was the other thing? Drink milk, or what else?
Just drink CBD, like a drop of CBD, like a tincture, or eat a gummy or something like that. It'll level you out.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So now we've talked about our love in the kitchen and growing up in the South and doing things like that. And I'm not a professional chef. I'm not a professional chef by any means, but I certainly do enjoy making meals. And, we all have those crazy, funny, like cooking stories where we're like, you know what, I'm not going to make that mistake again. So do you have one such stories of when you got started out, something that you're like, you know what, maybe it was just a little too much? And can you share like that with us?
Yes. So with dosing and all this stuff, the very first time I made edibles when I made friends in college, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna use that much ever again because I was just kind of out there. But as I got older and we tried it, I learned that I over decarbed my bud one time, and it just tastes nasty. It made my what I had made some potato soup one time, and it just made it taste kind of
Okay.
nasty. The effects were good, the taste was just nasty. And if you like the way food tastes, if it don't taste good, it's gonna ruin the whole movie for you. So I learned to not over decarb my bud, and then I also just learned with dosing. I know how much I can handle. I know that certain, like, just generalized, if I'm just gonna make it for the general public, just to have a base, because when I just put it just for myself, people would come back to me like, "Yo, Alex, that was a little too strong. I ate like a little bit, and I was like kind of slumped, just knocked out." So I learned to just do the base amount and then go up or down from there for everybody.
So that's interesting because I guess when I think of cooking, I don't really think about food, right? Like I'm thinking about gummies, I'm thinking about brownies and cookies, but you really can infuse any recipe. Like it can
Yeah.
be in barbecue sauce or like you said, the fried chicken or whatever it is that you're
Mhm.
going to be making. If you want, a different sort of vibe and feel, then you can add it to pretty much any recipe that you're going to put on your table.
Yeah, man, you can infuse mac and cheese, anything that you cook that has fatty base in it, or that you need olive oil or something like that to get it started going. You can enhance, and
Mhm.
it just makes it better. People can enjoy their cannabis better, and it can bring families together because now you don't have to have people walking outside to go for a smoke or something like that. Like everybody's there.
And everybody's basically consuming. So
Yeah,
we're all good. Everybody's on the same page. And
everybody
probably
chill.
and probably some of those family conversations we're avoiding having, that gives us a little bit of that. Can't say liquid courage, but it gives us a different type of courage to bring some
Right.
things up.
You're not as tense. You're just kind of like, you know what? Why not? This is the time. Why not?
Yep, everybody's around the dinner table anyway. So you guys, as those of you that are watching us live, welcome to those of you that are just joining the broadcast. If you have any questions for Chef Alex, please place them in the comment box below and I will bring them to her. I'm kind of checking the comments myself. I'm logged in on my cell phone as well. So if I miss something, just put it back in there twice so that we can bring it back on. So thank you guys so much for joining the broadcast. I see we have more and more people hopping on. So we appreciate that. Now, you talked about something in the very beginning, Chef Alex. You talked about THC and CBD. Now we know that those two are different. So educate our audience a little bit on, what the variations mean, especially as it pertains to our food and how we are choosing to consume that way.
So THC is what gets you high. Once you decarb your flower, you're activating the THC. So that's what gives you that psychedelic, that high feeling after you consume it. If you just cook your edibles and let's say you're making like a soup, a gravy, or a marinade, and you don't decarb it first, you just throw the whole plant in there. You don't have to worry about that THC being activated. Then you'll just get all the medicinal effects, and you won't feel as elevated. You'll feel a little bit because it did go through your body, so your muscles will relax and all that, and your headache will go away. You just won't get super high because that THC isn't activated. And then also, if you eat, you have to take a drug test at work, it won't show up.
That's awesome. So someone said, Bree says she's waiting because she needs this in her life. It has been the best thing for her condition. And so she says she's requesting. So Bree, at the end of the broadcast, Tanya will come back on and we will share all of Chef Alex's contact information as well as how we can connect and follow with her. So thank you so very much for that comment. So thank you, Chef Alex, for breaking that down for us as well. So, again, it's just so important for us to know the differences because we honestly assume that everything is going to get us high when that's really not the case, especially if that's not your
Right.
vibe. If you just want something that's just going to relax you or give you a good feeling, then, you can go the CBD, right? If you want you sort of psychedelic sort of thing where you're just relaxing and you just chill, you know what I mean? Like we've seen people that's just like chill, like their mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you want, then you may want to go the other route as well.
Like I could say, like right
So as
now,
we are, learning more and more. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say
No,
like
go ahead.
right now I get a little bit of anxiety when I have to do conversations like this or talk publicly. So I made some Rice Krispie treats that are just CBD. I just been eating them this whole time to just kind of mellow myself out.
Oh wow. Okay.
You would have never known if
Okay.
I would
Oh,
have never
cool.
told you.
Well,
I love edibles.
you're exactly right. I wasn't even paying any attention, to be honest with you. Like I am just enjoying our conversation. So, and as we are, learning more and more about the plan, as more states are moving towards legalization, what do you think for the future of this industry? We talked in the beginning about there's so many ways that folks can enter into this industry. I'm getting those questions a lot. I'm sure that you are as well. But what do you see as sort of as some of the sort of future trends that we can expect to see in this industry?
I definitely seen cannabis as that crop that's gonna change the outline of the world pretty much. As everybody gets enlightened more on the effects of it and the benefits, and more people start seeing how it can raise like the cost of living, how it can benefit the state as a whole from having legal cannabis, it's just gonna be that crop that we already knew what it was way back in the day before they decriminalized it. And then also, we're definitely going to see more of more food that becomes enhanced at restaurants. It's going to be another option because people like edibles. People love to indulge and they like that environment. So we'll probably see more environments, restaurants that provide that kind of like the vegan thing. Now you'll have like infused cannabis meals and stuff like that. And then also with teaching the younger generation, they're coming up in the time where cannabis is becoming more legal. So there's things that's going to happen that I can't probably even think about right now because we're giving them the opportunity to see what it's like in a legal aspect, and they'll know the benefits and enhance and how it can help the world. So they're going to come up with things that we or myself not even thinking of right now. So the sky's the limit. Like it's just going to be mad crazy in the future. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I've only been cannabis blogging since like September of last year. So talking of pivoting during the COVID, this is kind of when our company launched, and our founder, Jay Haleen, he, has had an interest in it, and thought how he could bring himself to the industry. And one of the things that we've learned is you want to be yourself, like whatever your skill set is, whatever, if you're an accountant, if you're in public relations, if you're in banking, you know what I mean? Like you want to bring yourself into this industry because there is room and space for you. Like I don't touch the plant. I'm not making, the oils. I'm not doing things like that. I'm not cooking with it, but from a media side and a business side, that's me all day long. So I've learned to certainly be, myself and bring what I, bring to the table as well. So I like that, what you just said, that, times are changing now. Like when I was coming up, it was for potheads and it was for people that just wanted to get high, or people that didn't, want to get a job, and you know what I mean? Like it was all kinds of stigma and negative messaging and things like that. I remember my dad being locked up so many times because he was indulging just a little too much, you know what I mean? And so it was just like that. But now times are changing. We're in 2021 and it's a completely different world. So I, like you, am just excited about this industry and where it is going. So let's, we're coming off of Women's History Month. Of course, you and I and Tanya, we're all women in this industry. For women that have a desire to be in this space, for women who really want to make their mark, we know that it's wide open, but we also know that it's predominantly white male. So how do we begin to change that so that women that look like you and I, that we're also given that space and that opportunity as well?
I would say, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the word no. Don't be afraid that somebody slams a door in your face. Don't be afraid of those things. Just do it. If they say no, that's fine. Take another way to go around it or ask the same question because it's gonna happen. And then we also gotta work together. There could be like 7 other edible chefs that does the same thing that I do where I am. Let's work together. Just continue to work together. Don't take no for an answer. Educate and just do it. Pretty much. If the opportunity isn't there, create it. Make it happen for yourself. But don't just stand there and be stagnant. Make it happen. Now is the time. There's a lot of people willing to help you or willing to open the door or extend their hand. So take it and let's just run with it.
I'm telling you right now. So you guys, first of all, I wrote notes off of what she just said because I'm like, I can't miss this. This was so important. You said the word, you said work together. We have to learn how to collaborate. And of course, maybe you've heard this. I know I certainly have in the space that I'm in, is that women don't want to work together, is that women can't work together, that we're catty and we're this and we're that. And I don't subscribe to that messaging because I don't see that as a fact. But I do know that there is opportunity for us to work together more. There's opportunity for us to collaborate. And so I'm so happy that you said that. And also, Chef Alex, I have also found that the people that are willing to help you is just unmatched. It is unreal the conversations you can have just when you let somebody know, you know what, I have an interest in this industry, and they will share resource. Listen, they will share their big name list. You know what I'm talking about? They will share their resources. They will make the connections for you. They are eager to talk to you and share. And I just think that that's absolutely amazing. And I just haven't found that in many other industries out there. Is that also your experience? Like, you
Yeah.
find that so many, like, other chefs are so willing to help you and collaborate and work together?
Yes, I do see that, especially when we have like different styles. Like I have a local chef that I kind of bounce ideas off with and work with. He's more highly defined classical type of guy. So like I'll talk with him and he gives me all kind of ideas and we'll bounce ideas off each other. And I'm slowly meeting other different type of chefs kind of around me and stuff like that. But we just kind of bounce off our strengths and weaknesses and be like, hey, you want to do this? You know, yeah, let's do this and make it happen. Oh no, we froze again. We're on a straight pause. Oh no, gotta love technology. I love technology. Freezes on you. So while we're sitting here, if you guys got any questions in the chat, I'll be more than welcome to answer them for you. Let me see. Only drink almond milk. Almond milk. I drink almond milk all the time. It works. I don't see no problem. It works great for me. Hey, welcome back.
I'm sorry about that. My screen just like totally blacked out. So I think last thing I heard you say was you had a local chef that you bounce ideas off of, and then I kind of lost you from there.
Yes, I have a local chef that I bounce ideas off of just to see what he feels, how he feels about a type of infusion or what type of things to put it together. And then I also have different groups that I'm a part of on Facebook where we all kind of share recipes, you know, infusions, way we infuse different type of food. I don't even think of it half the time. Like, oh man, I didn't think that's a cool way to infuse that ribeye or something like that. So it's just good to bounce ideas or try to tweak a different recipe that somebody else has done. Like it's fun. I like it.
I think that that's great. And I found the same thing, you know, especially in the media space. There aren't many Black owned media companies out there. Very, very few Black owned media companies, period. Black owned, that number is just something like maybe 1 to 3% out of the entire industry. So it's, you
Wow.
know, but again, that open arms, that's let me share, you know. And even though we're a new company, we're not even a year old, the conversations and the people we've been able to connect with has been absolutely amazing. Everybody's just wanting to talk and have, you know, and talk about this, because as we are seeing more states into legalization, then, you know, it just makes it easier for us to continue to build those connections as we continue to grow. So sounds like that you and I are operating, you know, in that same space and are having that same experience. So collaboration, willingness to help, and then also education. And I think that's where that connection and that collaboration comes through as well, is because that's an opportunity for us to connect. Like if I'm a cannabis accountant and you're in cannabis media or culinary arts, there's an opportunity for us to educate each other on what we both do, right? Because who knows the, you know, other additional opportunities or networking that may can occur in the future. But it just helps to continue to build our Rolodex, you know what I mean? Where I can say, hey, if you're having an event, you know, like yesterday was 420, I can say, hey, if you're having an event, I can know a perfect chef that can able to make the edibles for you, you know. And so that's how we continue to build community and continue to make space for each other.
Exactly. I mean, growing up, my mom, everybody around me always told me, closed mouths don't get fed. So in order for
That's right.
people to know what you do, or even just to expand, you got to talk to people. So I do food, which is easy. Everybody's always eating or something like that. So I just bring it up, eat common regular conversation. You know, but man, I got a headache, or man, this hot dog sure tastes good. And I'd be like, man, you ever had an infused hot dog? Or, you know, something like that. And I'm like, what? You can put cannabis, and then it just goes from there.
I love that. I love that. You know, with yesterday being 420, I took part in so many festivals and like so many online virtual events because I'm not in a legalized state. So it was kind of, let's celebrate, but let's do it virtually. But, it was just a whole lot of fun to just meet people from all over the world who were just doing different things, And I so love that that's one of the things that this industry does, is it really does bring people together from all walks of life, whether you're a patient, whether you are a dispensary owner, you have a retail store, or you're in some other aspect of the industry. It really does bring everyone together. And essentially we're all growing together, right? Like we're all here, and we're all growing together as we get more information, knowledge, more policies, etc. We're continuing to elevate ourselves, and at the same time we're lifting each other. And so I love that also.
Yeah, 420 was so much fun yesterday. I love it. Excuse me, I love it because, granted, people are like, oh, it's 420, it's a National Stoner holiday, but I got to help so many people that don't really want people to know that they indulge, because in the edibles it's real discreet. So I loved it yesterday. I like the orders that I received, and they're like, yeah, it's mostly parents, really a lot of moms that I help. They're like, kids, I don't want my kids to know, or business owners or things like that. So I'm like, hey, let's just have some fun. So I had a special meal, and I made some drinks, and then we just went from there. So they got to indulge without people being on their business, which was fun.
Awesome. So now hold up that drink that you have. I know you said we were going to talk about it. So what do we have there?
So this is called a liquid marijuana. And it's
okay.
You can go to your local bar and order a liquid marijuana. The only great thing about mine is I enhance it with a THC shot. So it's like a real shot.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So now that's something that you make and sell, or something that you just made yesterday?
No, I make and sell these. I make CBD or THC shots, just like that you can just add to your own. You can add to some wine. You can add to your own drinks if you want to do that. So I do this myself, or my wife will make some infusions with her drinks and sell them for me, or make them for me.
Oh, awesome. Okay, well, that's great. So it's a family affair then. We appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look, we love it. Keep
together, stay together.
That's what they say. That is what they say. So so from a business perspective, because you're an entrepreneur in your own right, so are we. What do you, from a business perspective, what's your like one piece of advice for someone that's watching this that really wants to start their own business? Now, I know probably like you that everybody wants a dispensary, but that is so expensive. Licensing is hard to get. And everyone just won't be able to get it, and that's just the facts. So from a business perspective, what do you recommend, or what do you say to someone who has a desire to enter into this industry, no matter their background?
Stay in your lane, know your role, and don't try to take on too much. Like when you're first starting a business, you're gonna want to appease to everybody, especially if somebody gives you feedback on your business. You're gonna want to instantly change it to try to appease them. Don't take all that feedback to heart too much. Just stay in your lane, do what God put in you to do, and then make it happen. You can take some courses if you need to. I would definitely recommend getting a mentor or having somebody like accountability partner, so you stay on track and you're not going off key and stuff like that. But just having a good accountability partner, stay in your lane, and then make it happen. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to know. Don't be afraid to take chances. Just do it.
Mm-hmm. So now, where do we find these mentors that you're talking about? I know you mentioned Facebook groups and things like that, but where else can someone that's watching this look to find a mentor if they're interested in entering into the industry?
You got to talk to somebody, even if talk to like your closest person next to you. They probably know somebody that's the expert in that field that you want to go in for your business. Open your mouth, and then be able to receive that feedback or that information when it comes to you. Like for me in the cannabis industry, I didn't know too many chefs, but I know a lot of business owners. So I just reached out to people that like I was like, how do you start a business? I want to do this. Okay, what's the next step? And they just kind of gave me the tools and guided me along the path. And then I joined different communities, like I joined BEI, which is the Black Entrepreneurs Institute, and I took their 8-week boot camp so I could learn how to really operate a business from other Black people that look like me on how they grow their businesses. So I was like, okay, I did that, and then I took the advice of learning how to speak more publicly. So I joined my local Toastmasters club, and that helped me with speaking more publicly. But I didn't know that unless I talked to one person initially who point me in the right direction to go to whatever else I need to know. So I hope I answered your question.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Appreciate that. And you, we didn't really get into this, but I kind of want to lead into this now. And that's really talking about equity in this industry and fairness. You know, one of the things that I believe is that this industry has been built on the backs of Black and brown people. And yet we don't have the same opportunities for entry as those that don't look like us. So from a social equity perspective, at least from your experience, even if that's in the culinary art, you know, is it the same across the board? Like, are you also seeing sort of more non-minorities enter into the space that you are seeing minorities? Is it that we don't have access, or we lack access, we lack education? What do you think some of those hindrances are?
As far as for edibles and for chefs, on the main scale, yes, your top tier, the other side of the skin color, their companies kind of taking over. But for us, I mean, I see a lot of Black and Mexican and Hispanic, Indian edible chefs kind of going to more private sector and doing things in that realm. Not really trying to be out front on the main stage, but just staying in their lane and getting more in the private sector and bringing the community to them. They're taking what they know within their knowledge. And I'm just talking about chefs, what I've seen. Taking what they know, like in their cuisine, like in Hispanic cuisine, or in was like the African cuisine and stuff like that, and they're enhancing it within their community and then going from there, you know, and then reaching out. They're not really trying to be up there with top brands and stuff like that. They're staying in their little lane and then growing it that way, bringing the people to them, pretty much.
Okay. Do you think that that's because of like some of the stigma that can be attached to it, or is it just more of their choice with themselves or their business?
It's probably both, because edibles are getting more popular, but it's not like on the like super popular. So people are just doing their own thing, kind of just bringing them to them until it takes off like it needs to.
So I've been seeing a lot more like infused beverages and things like that, even though I'm not in a legalized state. I'm still, you know, you see those things pop up in the gas stations and stuff like that. So I'm starting to see that. And so what do you think about beverages? Because I'm seeing sort of a rise in beverages and people wanting to drink it maybe instead of eating it or smoking it. So are you also seeing that sort of trend since you're in that industry, kind of sort of in that industry, you seeing that trend as well, more beverages versus food or smoking?
Well, I've seen a lot more since last year. It was the company in Arizona, Alkaline Water. I think that was the first company I really see go big with CBD water. And then as more states became more legalized with CBD, they're infusing it more into beverages. I don't know if that's just a easier way for people to consume it on a public standpoint or something like that, but that's what I saw first, more so last year. And then it's going from there. I just seen, I want to say it was January that I saw, I can't remember the name of the company, but it was BBR just had their like an infused beer that they really want to sell in the legal state. So
well, that's awesome. Well, one of the things that we know, Chef Alex, is that we are certainly on the cusp of something absolutely amazing. So I'm not sure how many more states have legalization on their, you know, agendas for this year, but I am excited about it, and that is for sure. So
I need Georgia to hurry up.
I am checking the comments, you guys. So if you have any more comments for Chef, I know. Well, you know, I'm in South Carolina, so I don't even know, like outside of hemp, which is legal here, as far as like CBD, which, you know, supposedly they've been trying to pass a medical marijuana, legislation here for 7 years, and it still keeps dying on the House floor. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we're going to be in that space, but nevertheless, it doesn't hinder me from doing what I need to do. Thank God for a great big old world out there.
Exactly.
Where
That's
we can
how I
still
feel
continue
about
to impact the world. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about that. So I don't see any more comments or questions coming through, and I actually have to transition out of this and give this back to Tanya. I told her I had another meeting coming up right after this, but I am so thankful and appreciative of you joining me for tonight's conversation and for tonight's message. I really, really appreciate it. I have enjoyed meeting you, I've learned a lot on tonight. So hopefully those that are watching this or those that will come back and watch the replay will also just, tremendously be blessed by what you have said. So thank you again so much, Chef Alex. And Tanya, thank you again for this opportunity to moderate this discussion. I have had a great time, really, really enjoying the Bhangology Cannabis Awareness Summit. So I am super duper grateful for you. And thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Guys, give Tamika and Chef Alex applause, a thumbs up in the chat. They were amazing. I enjoyed sitting back, listening. Tamika, thank you so much for joining us for tonight. You guys, I'm sure you will see Tamika again during the week. So thank you, and we will see you soon. So Chef Alex, we love Chef Alex. We love you. Chef Alex, I put in the chat that I made some butter beans today. And and I put some of your can of butter, the can of butter that we made in my butter beans. And it was good, Hunty. It was good. So I love it. We're able to have this discussion. One of the things that I didn't share earlier, because I wanted to give Tamika a chance to jump on in, was, I make no apologies for it. Before a year ago, I knew nothing about cannabis, and I feel like I've been in cannabis education for the last year, and it's been absolutely amazing. But I didn't know that cooking with cannabis was a thing. I was flipping through the channels one night and saw Cooking with Cannabis on Netflix, and I was like, wait a minute, is this a thing? And I remember watching the entire season. Like, I knew, I think everybody, whether they indulge or not, they know, about brownies and Rice Krispie treats, but like really infusing the food, right? And so I was intrigued. I wanted to know more. And then you and I met. We connected, I think, right at the beginning. I think we were probably starting our businesses at the same time. Mm-hmm. And we connected on IG, but we weren't able to like connect. It wasn't, I guess the timing wasn't right.
Yeah.
But then everything came together, right? And I was like, okay, we need you to do a segment for us. And so
God's time.
Exactly. And I so believe that timing is everything. It's not about our time. It truly is about, God's time. So I see a couple of questions in the chat that I'm going to get to. I'll get to you guys. But I want to say I'm so glad that you're part of our team, and that, we're able to share our tribe. So guys, if you are not registered, you're going to miss that. Chef Alex has an amazing coupon. She has an amazing tribe. So make sure you follow her on social media, and you follow her. You check out, what she's offering, and you'll get that in your email. So make sure you do that. So a couple of questions in the chat. Everyone is saying, thank you, Chef Alex. Thank you. Very informative. Awesome, ladies. Dr. Dana wants to know, can we, we want a class on everything. Dr. Dana, we're already working on bringing Chef Alex back for the members. So she wants to know, can we we need a class on how to make the punani cannabis rubbed. Were you here for that Monday night?
No, I heard it. Yes, Monday night. Yeah, I was thinking
Monday night. And so now we want a class on the infused liquids. So we'll have to bring Alex and Dr. Tennille back. Dr. Tennille actually made the liquid marijuana last night, but it didn't have the shots of THC in it. And so she talked about it. So you have to go and see last night's episode. It was all about, CBD with our guest last night. So, and then she popped in and we had a drink.
The same way I showed you guys how to make the butter, like that, the instant process, the first process, not putting it in the butter, but how I showed you how to make the butter, how you make the coconut oil, the same way to make the olive oil, the same way to make THC shots. I told you, I'll show you the basics. And
yeah. It's the same thing, Dr. Dana. It's the same thing. I remember. Yeah. So it's so awesome. Chef Alex, she, and like I said, you got to be registered to get her information. So register. So don't be asking me, what's the website? What's the register? And you will get everything that you need to get. You're getting free information. So register and you will get everything, all access to all of the speakers. So Chef Alex offers a great time. She does private parties and she's just great. And like I said, we're so excited to have her as a part of the Bhangology tribe, and that we're learning and growing in this industry together. So any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alice.
I said, I just want to make cannabis fun for everybody and to take the overthinking part out of it. It's just a plan. It's just fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to ask you, ask you something. So people who are listening tonight, they're listening tonight, they're going to want to try it, whether they try it with CBD flower. So guys, if you didn't know if that was a thing, you can have CBD flower or you can have the other flower. we're broadcasting on Facebook, so you know how they are. So you can so you can have CBD flower, you can have the other flower as well. So I know that people are gonna leave tonight and they're gonna be like, I want to make something. I want to create something. And we've learned all week, start low and slow. So what would you recommend once they learn the basics? What would you recommend that they prepare as that starter dish? Because I heard you say, you made something and, it provided the effect, but it didn't taste good. And when we talk about our food gotta taste good.
Yeah. Well, that was the first time I ever decarved some flour, and then I tried to make I made potato soup, and it was just the taste wasn't there for me. But if it's your first time and you haven't made any base or anything like that, you could just go to your local dispensary. I would say get a water soluble. That's something you could just put a couple drops of some water and make you some pasta. Boil your noodles in the water and then just go from there. Or if you live in a legal state, you can go to a dispensary, go ahead, buy you some butter, and then just cook like regular. Or you could get some distillates and stuff, but there's gonna be a lot of dosaging and all that stuff. And if you're really a chemist, you can go on and do that. But if you're just a basic person like myself, then just go on, just keep it simple. Get you some water soluble to tell you how many drops you could put per water, in your water, and just go from there. Or buy your own butter and cook from there.
Or you can also get it from Chef Alex.
Or you can order from me, and
or you can also. But I tell you, it was fun that night that I felt like it was virtual, and we had and that's what we do, guys. That's what we do in the Bhangology Cannabis Society. For our members, we have special settings outside of social media, and it felt like a girls' night out, but it was a girls' night in, learning how to make canna butter and canna cocoa. So you mentioned if you get too high, right, you can take some Bhangology CBD, but so I was going to ask you. So if you get to, you can take some CBD to bring you down. But if you're preparing a meal, what are some of the do's and don'ts for if you're preparing a meal and you want to infuse some things? What are some do's and don'ts around that?
you want balance. If you're making a meal like a whole meal, you want balance. You don't want too much THC because then you're gonna be up there high fiving Jesus, and you don't want too much CBD because then you're gonna be super chill. So you want balance. I always try to find a good balance of the two. Like yesterday, before 20, I made some drunken wings. Then we had brownies and THC shots. So with the wings, to get them ready, I put them to sleep. What I did was when I washed them and cleaned them and had them relaxing for a little bit, I used CBD water soluble. I put 1,000 milligrams of the water soluble, kind of massaging it in the chicken and just kind of put it to sleep, let it rest.
Mm-hmm.
Then I cooked them in the air fryer because they're nice and healthy. And then when I made the sauce, I used my can of butter in the sauce, cooked it up real good, and then I tossed the wings in the sauce once they got done cooking. So it was an even relaxation feel. And then we had the brownie that was just all THC, which had like a half a gram per little square brownie. So that was good. And then you had your drink.
So
balance.
So dosing, like, if you would eat a regular brownie, without any cannabis in it, that might not be what you need to eat.
In the basic brownie recipe, I think it calls for like a cup of butter. It's like a half a stick of butter. So I use 8 grams per whole stick, right? So a half a stick would be 4 grams. You whip it up and then you cut it from there. You can get 12 brownies per batch. So you can take 4 grams and stretch it out 12 brownies. That's really good for any new beginner or expert.
Yeah. And then when you're inviting guests, I guess you also need to let them know tonight's appetizer will talk about that.
All my guests know what's up when they come eat at my house. They already know what to expect.
Yeah. Like, does everything have weed in it?
No, I'll let them know, this is all THC, or I'll be like, this is CBD. So just you'll just chill. You won't be high. You'll just be relaxed and chill.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Right. So we definitely want to let people know. We want to definitely let people know what's in the food.
Definitely tell people. Give them an option. You don't want to take people's options away.
Yeah. And definitely, like you said, what can be prepared. You can also use CBD flower as well as the other flower as well. And make you follow it the same way, So last night we learned a lot about, we talked about Delta 8 THC last night. So Delta 8 is a great, if you're like, I'm not sure that I want to go the full THC route, Delta 8 is available. But I always tell people, know the laws in your state, know the laws in your job.
Definitely. Don't blame me because you lost your job. That is not my fault.
Right. Know what is doable in your state and in your job. So so that's something I think, just that we would be remiss if we did not, say that as well. So
you definitely got to know your parameters. But otherwise, man, just have fun. Like I heard the guy Taz last night was saying, don't overthink it. Kind of just have fun and enjoy it. Don't overthink it. Just have fun and enjoy it. It's the benefits are awesome, but just have fun. That's what I tell people all the time. Just have fun.
So have you noticed that since you've been cooking with cannabis, and I know you and I have talked before, when you're ingesting cannabis, how does that help you mellow out with your anxiety or your pain or kind of whatever's going on, as opposed to smoking it?
So for me, depends on what I have to do throughout the day. Like if I have a real productive day, I'll eat like some grits or something in the morning. I'll add it to my breakfast pretty much. So by the time I get my day started, it already kind of settle in. Like my medicine is already hitting me, and I don't have to kind of keep dosing throughout the day. It'll last pretty much all day if I'm doing what I need to do. I don't feel as anxious. I don't have the desire to kind of want to smoke real quick because I have things I need to do. I'm really just kind of mellow and medicated all day long.
Okay.
Now, if I don't have to be super productive, I got a chill day, I'll balance the two out because, I know my tolerance, but somebody else, they probably, can't. So it just kind of depends on what you need to do.
So Alex, Just define medicated for the people, because I know because I know there's probably somebody listening thinking she just high all day. So define medicated for the people.
Okay. So for me, I'll just talk about myself because I know myself.
Yes.
For myself, I have 2 sets of cannabis butter that I use. I have my CBD butter and then my regular THC butter. They're marked so I don't mix them up. But for medication purposes, if I don't want to be too stoned, but I don't want to have a headache all day long because I do suffer from migraines. I don't want to have headaches all day. I don't want my feet to hurt. I use my CBD one so I can function. You know, I'm not just slumped. I can function, but I'm not feeling those ailments. You know, my feet aren't hurting. I don't have my headaches. I could just kind of go throughout my day and do the things I need to do. Then on my off day, on my relaxed day, I'll use my regular THC butter that I like. Granted, I'm still self-medicated, but I'm more kind of high, really kind of just chill, kick back in the house, enjoying the day type thing.
Right. Very good. Carl Carmelita says, I feel like I'm getting my PhD in CBD and more lows to learn. Yes, ma'am. That's good. And yes, you are in the right place this week. You are definitely in the right place. So stick with us, stick with Bhangology. Dr. Dana says, or a third cup of oil, can you sub with the butter or use infused oil when it comes to making the brownies?
Just using full infused olive oil, can oil, same thing.
Yeah. So just
all our butter. I mean, just switch it out with the infused one.
Right. Jackie Jenkins says a lot of people want to know where you can buy the ingredients. So Miss Jackie, so you know, if you're talking about CBD flower, there are a lot of places you can get CBD flower, and we've got one. We'll put. We don't have flower yet, and you know, we wanted to kind of ease into the thing, right? You know, it's new for me, it's new for a lot of our members. And so, you know,
well, then just use water soluble, because that's easy. You could just like you dosing your water that you're gonna drink, it's the same concept.
Right. So you can use, so we'll provide a list, Jackie, of some places if you want to get flower and go through the experience of CBD. Now with the other flower, you need a bud tender.
Yes.
And be
bud specialist.
And that's something we can chat about offline. But yeah, you need a bud specialist for those who are in legal states, you know, and if you're not in a legal state, you know, it's really important. Talk about how important is it to know where your flower comes from, not the CBD, but you know, talk about that a little bit.
You want to know where your flower comes from because you want to know if they're using pesticides or not with their flower, if they're using sprays, because a lot of people just use sprays to give to make your terpenes enhance or to make the potency, and they'll just spray it, which is not good to ingest and all that stuff. So you want to know where your flowers go. You want to know if it has mold on it or not. You know, you want to know what type of strain you have, an indica, sativa, or a hybrid. Like you just want to know. It's like knowing where your milk comes from, or knowing where your gas comes from, or knowing where your food comes from. Like you want to know so you're not end up with some crazy side effects or something like that.
Right. So yeah. So if you're new, like I was, I would suggest starting with some CBD flower and then move up, unless you have a trusted source where you can get other flowers. So Esther, or if you're registered, you can call Chef Alice. Esther says this session is so educational. Thank you, Dr. Lowe, for providing an amazing platform. Thank you, Chef Alex, for dropping these gems tonight. That's what she does. That is what she does. So
I feel it's my mission to help. I mean, I like helping other people, but I gotta help my own people if they step their game up just a little bit as we move into the future, because it's crazy what's going to happen in the future, and we all got to stick together and just kind of build and grow together.
I love what you said about stay in your lane, and we're gonna have we have monthly sessions for our members, and we'll talk about membership later in the week. But I love what you said about staying in your lane, because anything that you do, guys, you're watching, whatever you do in your current industry, that can translate. That's a transferable skill into the cannabis industry. You can do very well in the cannabis industry without touching the plant or products, right? I heard someone, they asked me about quality. They do quality control in their job. And so they're like, I'm like, there's plenty of room for quality control, because 30% of, I think it's 30% or less than 30% of CBD has in it what the packaging says is in it. So that's why COAs are so important, certificates of analysis. And so if you're a science person and you're in that, you can easily transfer those skills. So knowing where you fit, knowing where you fit and how you fit, and how you can fit. Of course, everybody I want a dispensary, but follow the trends, read the news, find out what's going on. Tamika was spot on when she said, it's a lot. It's a lot, not only to get in, but a lot to maintain.
Well,
and
before I really got heavily taken off with edibles by Alex, I work in corporate America, so most of some inspiration came from just what I saw from my surroundings, from the people that I work with. Seeing them deal with their anxiety and how to talk to each other or how to deal with the stress of the job. So I was like, guys, let's make this food edible, and then we can all kind of live our job, do what we got to do without popping all the other medicine.
Right. Chef Ellis, I just got a message from someone. They said, I love me some Alex. I want to be medicated all day too. One of your fans. Okay.
Hey, I'm cool with that. There's nothing wrong with you don't care throughout the day. I mean, you care what's going on, but you're not one of those stressed, uptight people that's just like, oh.
Yeah, stress is killing Black women, right?
Silence clearly, man. I don't want to be stressed out, so self-medicate.
Yeah. Yes. So let's see what else we've got. Yes, Jackie, I will. So this has been awesome. Chef Alice, I hope you come back.
As long as you invite me, I'm here.
I hope you come back, as I think on Friday night, we're talking about cannabis in the workplace. And because you are your corporate job, I would love for you to join us. We've got an amazing speaker, and I'd love for you to join us on Friday if you're available.
I should be available. It's just like with in the workspace. Imagine, like Duke was saying last night, he had a meeting or something like that, and he would take his CBD before meetings, right? So
right.
Or on lunch break. Imagine if you could if your lunch was edible in the middle, for your lunch break.
Right. Well, we do know the workplace is changing, and so I think that just like we need to know the laws of our state and kind of the parameters in our jobs. People need to be aware. I think we do better when we're armed with information, and then we can make the decisions for ourselves. Not talking to your street corner, homeboy who that is his job.
Oh my God.
That's his job. And his job is to get you off of your job, but to truly get the information that you need to make decisions about your health, your life, what medications that you are going to take, and how will you use cannabis to supplement to replace pharmaceutical medications. And so it all starts with education. That was my sole purpose for starting Bhangology, and the products kind of came along a little later. And so we'll be talking about that a little later, but I'm so big on education.
Yeah, I mean, before I went all in with Edibles for Alice, I did take some classes with Cannabis Training University, so I wasn't just out here just spitting my street knowledge.
Exactly.
I learned from growing in the streets with cannabis. I definitely took some classes so I can, you know, more of the different strands, more in depth, pretty much.
Yeah.
Plain
Oh
up.
yeah, she's certified and qualified, guys. We bringing you people that know what they're doing and that can back up. They've got the receipts. Dr. Dana says, no different from going to lunch, having a couple of drinks with the meal. Not me though. Of course not you. Of course not you, Dr.
No,
Dana.
don't do that.
Right. So will you stick around for a little bit?
I have a few minutes. Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So guys, wasn't Chef Alex amazing? We love her. We hope you love her as well. So a couple of things as we wrap up tonight. I have a big announcement. Our Q2, I just put it in the chat, I think. Our Q2 magazine, The Bang Report, just came out today. And so I dropped the link in the chat. Make sure you check it out. We are so proud of this magazine. It is a labor of love. We were expecting it to drop last week, but sometimes, you know, we just got to go with the flow. So check it out. The link is in the chat. Make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow Bhangology on YouTube, IG, and join our Facebook group, the Bhangology Cannabis Society. Make sure that you enter the sweepstakes. We've got some amazing little some giveaways we want to give you guys, and I'm trying to figure out how to show my screen so I can show you what the giveaways are for that we're going to be giving away at the end of the event. Let's see if I can share my screen. It's really interesting here. Here we go. I got it. So I don't know if y'all can see it, but I got it. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Nope, that's me. I don't know if I can show you guys. I really wanted to show you what we have, but I don't know. Dr. Dana, can you see it? Could you see the screen of some of the stuff we've got? Can you see it? It says that it's showing. But anyway, we've got some prizes. We've got some Green Roads are one of our partners. They've donated a sample pack. We've got our tea and a CBD tincture. We've got some t-shirts. We've got some CBD coffee. And then we've got our Bang Box Mini. You know, our Bang Box has like tons of Bangology products. And so we're going to kind of do a mini version of that. So in order to get the box, in order to get the treats, you got to register. You got to subscribe to the sweepstakes, and, you know, every day, because every time you go in and you log into the sweepstakes, you are entered. It's just like buying raffle tickets, right? But it's free. It's free this time, right? So, so go ahead, do that. We want to make sure that that everyone has an opportunity to participate and everyone has an opportunity to win some of these amazing prizes. So if you enjoyed tonight, give me a thumbs up. Give me put some ones or something in the chat that you enjoyed tonight. Tomorrow night is going to be amazing. Tomorrow night it's gonna be amazing, right? Because we're gonna continue the education and we're gonna be talking about a very serious topic. We're gonna be talking about cancer, chemo, and cannabis, right? So make sure that anyone that you know who has been experiencing cancer, maybe some of the side effects of chemotherapy, make sure you make sure that they're here tomorrow night so that they can meet our guest and hear her story and talk about how cannabis has helped her make it through this diagnosis. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us for night number 3. Another great night in the books. We will see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, same place, and have a great night. Until next time.